This episode of the Digital Marketing Masters podcast was recorded live and edited for clarity and brevity. Enjoy responsibly.
Keith Bilous is here! Feel the power! Live broadcasting in the age of AI! Keith Bilous is here!
If in the age of AI, everything is essentially able to be faked or replicated or deep faked, why do you think going live is the only way to fight back?
Yeah, it's a great question, Matt. So I think the reality is, we know that even real-time rendering is going to change all of our perceptions of reality as it is, right? My ability to become you, Matt, or me to become you, Mahak. It's just, we know those abilities are around the corner. So I think that us competing with technology and us competing with those concepts, it ain't going to happen. So I believe that this combination of accepted blurred reality of the AI characters, but also putting yourself as a real human being, that habit, right? Every single day at a certain time, I'm going to be here. Not the fake me, not the alternative me, but me as a real human, inviting you to interact with me, in a human space. And I think that perhaps as we continue to move forward, we're going to desire more of that. And I think that it's not only the live component, Matt, but it's live and it's a habitual same time type situation where, okay, the same time, the same guy showing up, and yes, one could argue that can be fake too, but I'd like to think that over time you can build enough trust where with your community / audience, they know it's really you.
Yeah, I think we're at least a decade from being able to fake that.
I'd like to perhaps think so. Yes.
And not to scare anyone, because I know a decade is not that long from now.
No.
But also, I think there is also like something to be said for the incremental doing of anything. When you're doing something consistently over a period of time, like every Monday to Friday, I get up, I do all my stuff, I let my chickens out, I do my thing, I drive my kid to school, I go to the coffee shop, I sit in the same seat, I use the same laptop, I drink the same drink, and I write for an hour. And now I read something that I wrote a year and a half ago, and I'm like, wow, that is shit.
But Matt, that's fascinating. You say that though. So to my heck or watching you do that, that's building familiarity for her and I. That familiarity builds trust. It's like, oh yeah, there's the guy sitting in the corner of the coffee shop again, doing the same thing over and over. And that trust breeds familiarity. I'm sorry, that familiarity breeds trust, builds confidence. I don't think you can fake that.
No. I was talking with Sabrina Scott. We call her the witch doctor because she's like practices witch religion, but she's her PhD. One thing that she was saying was that in her practice, which is spirituality, which honestly, nobody's coming to me for spiritual advice, right? I'm just not that person. But she's like, it's in the doing, right? Like, it's not like, okay, spirituality's been done. I had some chat GPT make some sermons or something, right? It's in the practice of doing the thing over and over. And it was curious to me that if it's live shows like you're talking about, it's building an audience, if it's learning how to write, if it's even in like spirituality circles, it's the doing of the thing over and over that is important.
Yes. Which builds the trust. Repetition builds trust. Period. I don't think you can argue that. Whether we believe the trust or the facts or the alternative facts, how you ever want to put them, but repetition, it's how bullshit spreads. Right? Well, I've heard that, and that must be true.
There's an amazing study that was done. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was done over a 20-year period. And what they did is they told people that this treatment that they had for sore knees did not work, no matter how many times it did it, but they wanted them to do it anyway. And every year they would say, hey, has the treatment worked for you? Even though they told them it's not going to work up front.
Right.
And after 10 years, half the people believed that it made their knees feel better. Right?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's kind of like a human nature thing. It's like almost like an easy button, except it's not so easy to do the same thing over and over all the time.
But while we talk about building connection, right? While we're talking like this, while Matt is being authentic, right? But Keith, I know that you've actually built an AI version of yourself as well that hosts its own show. So it makes me wonder, like, where do you exactly draw a line between what AI can do and what only a live human can do?
I don't know if there is a line. I think it's up for us to determine that line. I've decided to embrace it. I've decided to embrace. Listen, I believe you can't beat them, join them. So my point of view on it is that is it great right now? No. Is it ridiculous right now? Much of it is. Um, I'm going to use that to my advantage to stand out, to be unique. So is it slop? If it's not intentional, I don't believe I create AI slop. I believe I create highly, thoughtful, intentional content, which then helps me build a trust for my reality.
Hmm.
Right. So, me being intentional with building a business, with using this as a tool, not as just something to just to inseminate the earth with garbage. No, I'm using it to build what I believe is the future, to help build trust in live dialogue again.
Yeah. Well, that's quite similar to what we do at the agency as well, right? We do use AI to enhance what's already there. So I think that's
Mm.
in line with what we do as well. Like we often get footages from clients or some images from clients, and we use AI tools to enhance what's already there. So they may just send us a
Yeah.
picture of their product, but like we're enhancing that using the AI tools. So I think it's on the same line. So that makes sense.
People that bitch and complain about it, I would say that are those that don't want to learn, don't want to embrace new skills. So it's just easier to stand up, take a rock, and throw it at the person that is. Oh, that Matt Rose guy. Oh, what is he talking about? I'm gonna throw a rock at him. Even though he's like, no, I'm pretty sure that that's like the internet moving from this version to that version. I'm gonna go continue to build my business over there. So you guys keep throwing rocks, and the guys throwing rocks are gonna be left behind. It's not even a doubt to me, frankly. And those are the haters.
Right. And I don't know if any of those people have seen the internet. He's full of garbage.
Well, it's true. Yeah, 100%.
70% of the internet is garbage. So you look at when they did the original training of GPT-3,
Yes.
and they almost had to throw the whole thing out because so much of it was trash,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's why they have these kind of structured training data and stuff now that they use to be able to say, okay, this is quality writing that we're using for training. Where they got it, if they licensed it, I'm not an expert on that. I'm going to say probably not all of it.
Well, and Matt,
So much crap out there. Why can't we use the tools to make stuff that's honestly good?
and I still laugh when I hear people talk about, oh, do you think that was AI generated, or did was there a tool that found out if it was? Really? That's like saying, hey, did they use a typewriter, or did they write it with their hand, or did they use a computer to get it? Does it really matter how it was created?
Right. I wonder if there was a typing checker
Oh,
back in the day. They're like, I want to see if this was typed or if they wrote it.
yes, it was Susie. It was Susie in the corner going, I think it was. Anyways, yeah.
I don't know about this. So anyway, moving on, I think an important distinction that I've seen you talk about quite a bit recently between the show and on LinkedIn, some other places, was the idea of having a structure or a format versus a show that is dependent on the host.
Oh, Matt, I'm really glad you asked me. Sorry, I cut you off. Thank you for asking that question. I believe in that so much. And let me tell you why. Because when I set on this journey to build, MITL Studio and Mornings in the Lab and the platform, and what you saw for the longest time, Matt, was a show. But the show was the research, the development. To do what I really wanted to build was the network, but also the operating system, the format. Because I really don't believe in building anything new. I'm solving some problems. Creators burn out really quickly. They start their podcast with much enthusiasm, their YouTube channel with much enthusiasm, then it's like,
Yeah.
It's largely because the enthusiasm dies. They have nothing to talk about. They're trying to struggle to keep it fresh. I believe I've solved all those problems, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about, this idea of a format, because of exactly that. If you create structure and repetition, and if Keith can't make it one day, hey, Matt, can you take over? Sure. Matt can sit in my chair today and sit down with John and deliver the show. It wouldn't be Mornings in the Lab with Keith and John. It would be Mornings in the Lab with Matt and John. But the format is no different than morning rock radio, morning country radio. And I believe that in the streaming world, we don't have that. There is no kind of format per se to move things forward. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I really wanted to build something bigger than me so I could the business side of it, monetize the format, sell my format, take other formats, right? And then in the world of AI, with really being able to create anything that your imagination can desire, this world of universes, this world of characters and IP. And Matt, I know you lean much into that kind of in a fun, nerdy way like I do. And I sit back and think, geez, I can create a show, but more than a show, a format that is interchangeable that I can sell around the world. Mornings in the Lab in Australia, Mornings in the Lab in here and here and here. No different than Mark Burnett created Survivor or Shark Tank or so forth. So what you see is a show, but what I really created was a format, a new category. And I believe that because I wanted to build something bigger than me. And I believe any creator might want to think about that too, because the moment you look in your own mirror, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, it gets pretty hard. Right. And I always wanted to build something bigger than just myself. That's really just the other answer to Matt. And I looked, I'm like, there's an opportunity right there in this morning format that nobody has really created on yet. So I went after it and I'm going after it.
When I found your show originally,
Mhm.
I don't remember how exactly I found it. I think somebody might have referred it to me. It's a
Mhm.
big sitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what happened was I watched it and I was like, holy shit, like, how come no one else is doing this thing that seems so obvious? It seems like every radio station and every TV station in the world has a morning show, and then all of the internet doesn't have any.
Mhm.
How is this even possible? I mean,
It's hard.
there's people like you go on Twitch and there's like, I'm the morning streamer and they're playing Minecraft in the morning. It's not really the same thing, you know?
No, Matt, but you're right, man. You're so right. But it's hard though. It's super hard. And I don't say that to pat my own back. I'm just saying it's freaking hard. So I'm saying to myself, I believe like why can't there be, I don't know, like we're both in Canada. We know the Canadian journalism world, right? Why can't there be 100 morning shows across our country, creator led? But I know why. It's hard. There's no platform. There's no format. Because for me to do my job over the last 2 years of research and development, Matt, it's been, and you guys are in the business, it's 15 different tools, stitching them together. I do it live real time, 5 days a week. And I have all the props for my podcast. I joke in my pitch because I'm the PC versus Mac pitch. Why would you do a podcast? You should do it live. But I got all the props for you guys. But you break my show down. I do 40, 15-minute podcasts a week live. I've needed to figure out a way to deliver that. So to me, that answers the question, Matt, about format, because then it's like, well, wait a minute, maybe Matt wants to start a morning show out there in the East Coast. And it doesn't have to be a 2-hour extravaganza. Maybe it's like, hey, 30 minutes. And let me tell you something else I also believe, if I may, is that I also believe that why so much in the morning? You said morning, you said the radio mornings that we grew up with. Well, mornings is the last monocultural time we share as human beings. We wake up. And unless we watch a sporting event together in the evenings or a live event like Love is Blind or something, the mornings we share between the hours of 6 a.m. in North America and largely 12 because there's time zone shifts. So you got about a 4 to 6 hour window where we all share the same thing. Well, there's a dude down there in the South that takes advantage of that, and every single morning he starts the conversation. So if you are the voice of an industry, or if you're looking to make your name in an industry, man, in a world of synthetic content, the guy or girl who speaks first over and over and over and over builds trust, builds authority. Whether it's 5 days a week, 1 day a week, all of a sudden, geez, every Wednesday, Matt's got this morning show. It's a 30-minute catch up on yes, this. People over time are like, yeah, I'm listening to Matt. So back to your original question. If I can give you that format where you're just like, holy shit, man, I just got to show up. The thing's all done for me. That's what I've created. Back to the format.
So when most people hear format, right? Like I'm thinking a rough format in my mind.
Bingo.
What does that actually look like in practice or a business? If you can give us an example of that.
Yeah, so if you look at my show is, so if you looked at my show and if you watched it over and over and over. Let me back it up for you, Mahak. If you watch Survivor or Big Brother or any of these shows, they're all, at the end of the day, they're just formulas, right? Survivor Canada, Survivor USA, Survivor everywhere. They're just, you strip them back, they're a formula. So is my live morning show. It's actually really, again, using Matt as an example, I say, hey, Matt, take on the morning show for a while. He would have no problem stepping right in because just the way that the structure is in place, what happens here, what happens there, what happens here, what happens here. To you on the outside, as the viewer, it looks like it's magic. On the backside, behind the scene, there's a lot going on because we've done our job. That to me is a format. Like, how does Survivor work? I don't know, but it's pretty damn good. Right. So when you have all that structure in place, but it's disguised in magic, right? So again, I would invite you to watch our show Mornings in the Lab, and you'll see how we blend our AI characters, where I got people on my show that are like, real or not real? I'm like, well, no, that person's not real. That one's real. Really? Yeah.
I thought I could just step in and take over your show because I was so brilliant.
Well, that's the other reason, and handsome. So I'm the handsome chief on my show, but of course I'd have to give Matt the handsome chief on my show.
I don't know. This is probably one of the best looking shows on the internet right now.
No question.
That's on here.
Yes, no question.
And if you look at our audience too, my God, it's like a sea of models, and
I love it.
everybody's just horrifically attractive.
Wrangler, handsome chief. You should.
Yes. That's it.
There's definitely some resistance to the kind of that live format versus podcasting, pre-recorded video. You know, there's lots of people going live on lots of platforms, but I don't know if you've watched other live streams, but most of it is terrible.
Oh,
Like, I watched, honestly, to get prepared for this, I was like, I am going to burn through an hour just watching random YouTube live streams. And I couldn't make it an hour. I made it about 50 minutes. I'm shutting this shit off. There's one I watched for about 4 minutes. Is just somebody laying on a couch like this. There's like comments going by and stuff. And I'm like, what are we even watching? And it's just like somebody. Like, there's nothing special about it. Like, it wasn't even that nice of a couch.
yeah.
So, my actual question is, what kind of pushback have you seen, maybe personally or industry-wise, to doing live shows?
So it's a great question. People are scared of going live. They're scared of saying the wrong thing, scared of offending somebody, scared of, and here's the thing. I understand all of it. And in many ways, I believe, if anything, I might be the best, if not one of the best people on the planet to have this conversation. And let me tell you why. So back when the internet came out, Matt, when you and I were just little babies, and people were going www, the World Wide Web, go to internets.com. And I was managing message boards and community boards and living in the world of social media before it was called social media. I was managing risk for big brands. I was going to brands and saying, hey, I can manage the comments on your community or on your Facebook page because those guys own your They're like, what? Right. So I was starting to talk to brands about risk around what's happening on the internet. So in many ways, Matt, I'm having that same conversation today, which is, in a world of more and more synthetic content, more and more content that is, whether it's real or not, doesn't matter. To me, it's as much having a habitual live conversation to create community for your stakeholders repetitively. Matt, it's like, why wouldn't pick a brand? Why wouldn't Nike have a morning show once a week? Right. So you can't tell me they don't have enough people on their team to at least deliver some structured content from Nike for their stakeholders, their investors.
I worked at Nike.
Okay, well, there you go.
And I can tell you how many people are sitting around.
And I know the reason why, and I understand the reason why, which is why I believe I may be well positioned to have the conversation, which is there's a lot of risk in doing that. I understand that. So it's how do we mitigate that risk? But I believe as we continue to move forward, Matt, next 3 to 5 to 10 years, owning that morning conversation, owning the narrative, owning the dialogue in a world of synthetic noise. Every Thursday, there's the dude from Nike there bringing you the facts. It's like an every Thursday AMA from a verified, trustworthy human in a structured format every Thursday at a certain time. So, again, using Nike, whatever brand you want to call it. But man, no different than just morning radio you and I grew up with, or talk to the experts, right? It's kind of that same trustworthy thing. Or at 6 o'clock, there's the news guy. So, but back to your original question, it's risk. So the pushback is often, well, I don't know, it's risky for our executives. We don't ever do that. I had a conversation with a guy last week, and he paused. He's like, because I said, I invite you to think about the next 10 years. Don't think about the last 10. The last 10 have been just awful and trolly and crappy. But we're moving into a new era of internet, and a new era of communication, and a new era of community, and perhaps a new era of managing risk. Right? I think not having the conversation is worse than having one. I think getting ahead of the conversation in a world where your narrative can be lost so quickly is more important than ever. And I know, because of some of the things that I know how to build, and Matt, you do too. I'm like, I'm the white hat guy. I can see what the bad guy can do. People should have a conversation and own their narrative. So I believe in live.
Do you think that being live is more of an opportunity to respond to kind of negative comments or pushback kind of thing? Or do you think that it's just inviting more of it?
I think it's the way to do it. I think it's the way to do it. I absolutely do. I think it separates and with all respect to my podcast friends, I think that those that are making a podcast are really missing out on an extremely incredible opportunity just to have engagement. Right? It's easy for anyone to do this. Talk to the person who's listening. It's really hard to have a conversation where the real value is in real time, even if we don't agree. And perhaps, Matt, that's part of the problem of the world right now, which is that if we all just want to put our own podcasts on, sing Kumbaya and agree with it, because there's no way to have like a real-time feedback mechanism. I don't like what Mahak said. I don't agree with her. Well, she's like, well, why don't you agree with me? Well, that's why. Well, I want to disagree. Let's have a conversation about it. Maybe there's some value in that, instead of, well, she said something on the podcast I didn't like. I flip it off and go turn on one I like. So I don't want to live in that world. I want to live in a world where I can have a discourse, a conversation. So again, I understand the place for the podcast, but I've often wondered this. And here's what I really tactically wonder. We're recording this live anyways.
Right.
Oh, then it's going to become a podcast after. Oh, so I get two birds with one stone.
There was a time when we used to record this live. And I can tell you what the reasoning behind not doing live shows was for us back in the day. And the reasoning was that we had too much of a difficult time getting our clients in because we worked in so many time zones.
Okay.
So it was this kind of timing problem all the time.
Yeah.
Because at the time we had clients in New Zealand and Hawaii. And I mean, I got meetings at 11 p.m. and another one at 4 a.m. Crazy stuff, right? All awesome app. And we used to have a live show in 2020. We had a live show. 2019 and 2020, we had a live show. This is called the Marketing Happy Hour.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Right. And it was great. And, we had not like a huge audience, right? But we had a lot of people who were like clients and people from like the local chamber of commerce and stuff. And I think there's a real missed opportunity for localization in live shows.
Matt, I completely agree with you there. Yes. Like I think about Winnipeg, Matt. If you pick a trade, if some dude every Thursday started like the electrician show in the Winnipeg community, where you knew there was an electrician to every 30 minutes, when I say this is something, I can't commit to a show every week. Really? You can't commit to a 30-minute coffee just to talk in front of the microphone and camera and talk to your people? Oh, never thought about it that way. Yeah, just 30-minute coffee, man. Just get in front of the camera. I'll give you some news, give you some topics. By you showing up over time, people be like, wow, Joe's always there talking about electrician stuff. Yeah. Well, do you think Joe's electrician competitors in the community are like, dude, Joe's like the man in Winnipeg? Matt, it's no different than when I woke up to a morning radio show, the same bed commercial all the time. Like you know what I mean? You know the ones that same. It's the same commercial that it's over and over.
I could say it.
Yes, trust through repetition.
That's right. There's enough repetition. You know what? This is kind of an aside, but it's also kind of on the repetition point.
Yeah.
Somebody from Ontario. I haven't lived in Ontario since I was 6 years old.
Okay.
Somebody mentioned that they went to a pizza place, and I remembered the phone number from hearing it on the radio when I was a child because it was a jingle. It was 867-5309. Call Pizza Pizza. Hey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Still know it.
Yep. Yep. There you go. Right. The power of the jingle.
Our question.
So weird because when you say that, like, when you just said you don't have 30 minutes to sit with a coffee and chat with your audience. And here I'm thinking, I have no idea why I thought pre-recorded podcasting was better than live. Like, for some reason, I had that thought in my mind that, oh, it's going to be a lot of hassle to be on live versus pre-recording. And I don't even know why. So I'm questioning that right now. Because yeah, it's not that hard to just sit with your audience for 30 minutes when you say it like that. It's not.
Well, here's where I think we as humans get too caught up too. The person on the other side watching right now is feeling the same thing you're feeling. They're like, oh, why can't I do that? I should be doing that. Well, she did. She's already ahead of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's and you're like, yeah, I'm the one leading the conversation right now. I am. You are. It's pretty powerful. Because over time it compounds. Matt, I'll tell you something, brother. You and I met 2 years ago when I started the show. It was March 11th. You and I met in the first few weeks with Nicole. And then actually with Marty, we were in May, actually. It actually is, it's true. It's kind of really, it's crazy. So any creator listening right now, I'm going into year 3 of my creator-led, old man morning show journey, going into year 3. It's now the year, Matt, where in my hack, where people are like, oh, you're like the morning show guy. You're like the morning platform guy. You've built like a morning show. You're still doing this fucking thing? Yeah. That's actually it. So I'm like, yes, I've finally passed my old ICUC guy. I'm now the new morning platform guy. But it's been that 2-year mark. Seriously, around this year, people are like, oh, okay. Now my messaging has intentionally changed. And I think you've noticed it, Matt. But yeah, I've it's kind of like that. It's like that 24 to 36 month part of the journey now.
Yeah, well, this is year 8 for our podcast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we've been banging it out for a long time here.
That's awesome.
Mick's been on. Well, this will be episode 4 by the time we get this one out.
Jactor's rocking it.
That's right, but she also is starting her own podcast.
Oh, nice.
But maybe now she's going to do a live show.
I was saying you can do a live show or live coffee with Mick.
I'm actually thinking about it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's more of a psychological contract. Like, it takes the same amount of effort, but it seems like a psychological contract. So while we're talking about it, what would you like to say to someone who's struggling with it, like mentally? It feels like more effort, even though it's not the same amount of effort. What would you say to someone who's struggling to, like, go on live and pick up a mic?
I would say go back and listen to the last 30 seconds because Mayhek just told you what you needed to hear. It's actually, it's maybe by accident when you're recording the podcast, you accidentally hit the record live button and then you're just like, oh my God, it's recording myself live. Yeah. And I think the other thing is the person on the other side is as freaked out as you are when you're doing it too. Right. So, like for that first time, over time, you're like, oh, that's not a big deal. Right. And I do this. I help people start their own live shows. So I've done this enough times. I'll tell you, Mac, it's like by show. I was talking to Cheryl last week. It was her 4th show where she's like, okay, it's like, this is like standard now. First one was like, ah. Second one's like, okay, we're fixing all the better ones. Third one, you're like, okay, I'm in a rhythm now. 4th, it's like, oh, that's just kind of normal now.
That reminds me of what I told Matt as well. Like, because I've never done this co-hosting thing before,
Yeah.
like I'm more of a learner's voice. And now I feel like for anyone going live, there's nothing wrong with just being that vulnerable or authentic and just being honest about it. Hey guys, I'm doing it for the first time. And that's okay. Like, you will.
Percent.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think it's any different than maybe when you've done a keynote or you've gone on stage and people are like, oh, I'm going to get all scared. Well, tell the audience that because they'd be the same way if they were you. They just want to hear you say that. Oh, yeah, never thought about that. Hey, I'm nervous right now. And the audience is like, yeah, he's normal.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a big fan of learning the thing by doing it. Right.
Yes, me too. Rolling up the sleeves and Yes, because I don't think you grew up thinking you were going to have chickens, and now you're
Now I got 46.
yes, the official chicken wrangler, the only guy I know on the planet who's my official chicken wrangler friend, Matt Rose, with their East Coast. I love it.
So it's probably hatching time soon. So
Love it.
we're hopefully gonna boost up the flocks a little bit more here soon.
Yeah.
I got a chicken shirt on.
I know you do. Well, you have. I don't think you haven't been on with me and John. I got to get you on with me and John. You and John would like you, man.
Yeah, I watched them. I was like, yeah, that's
John's a good shit.
Interesting, yeah.
A good shit.
You kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, but I think when we talk about things like deep fakes and stuff like that happening in a world where people are going to be able to have AI systems that can go live.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And even potentially, like if you look at something like Notebook LM, where people can like call in or toss to it, just to answer the questions live, right? Do you think that that technology is going to replace a lot of the live streams and stuff we see now, or do you think it's just going to push people to look more for the human one versus the fake?
I think it might be an and, Matt. I think it's another content choice. Right, like my content, right? It's human and AI stuff. Some like it, some don't. Right, so maybe it's just it's a new format, right? Some people like watching the guy laying on the couch, wondering why the hell am I sitting here watching the guy laying on the couch. Some people want to watch more of a listen. We know that the fastest, YouTube's growing fastest in the living room, so I'm creating content for the living room. Even though I know it's viewed on the mobile, but in my mind, if I try to create a style of content that's of that production quality, it'll find a place for people.
There's definitely a lot of segmentation in the viewership nowadays, and I think you can see that in kind of the running around with their hair on fire that's going on in like Hollywood right now.
Yes,
and
Yes.
throwing everything that they have at, plus the kitchen sink at the wall. And like, I think I saw a dozen movies that had come out last year that were over $10 million in budget that had a $0 marketing budget.
Wow.
Like, what's even the point?
I watched the stats of the podcast industry, which I think are largely bought and purchased and perhaps not real. It's humorous to me because I like to ask somebody this question. Mahak, I'll ask you this question.
Mhm.
So would you rather have 1,000 people drive by your restaurant and wave and just give you a nice thumbs up on your Facebook page? Or would you rather have 20 people stop by your restaurant and stick around for 2 hours every single day? I think we know the answer to that.
Yeah. 20 people in my restaurant.
But we as marketers haven't been taught that. The industry has said, well, how come there's not 1 million people driving by your restaurant? Because the 1 million people with that big 7 digits on the so let's look at the landing page. 1 million people drove by, 20 people stayed. Wah, wah. It's really sad, but that's the truth. And here's what also I giggle in my mind, right? So if you kind of step back and did the math, I had a segment on my show about this. There's only so many minutes in the world. Yet everybody and their dog has gazillions of downloads and gazillions of people watching. But yet we're all competing with Netflix and Amazon and Prime and Mornings in the Lab and Matt Show and Mahak Show and TV and traditional TV. Where does everybody get all the time to listen to everybody's podcast? That's why the world doesn't need another dumb podcast. I don't mean dumb one, but as in boring and go and kiss your wife. Go and take your kids out for dinner. True story. Stop just pretending you're going to be famous, starting a podcast for 3 days and 3 shows and then just ending it. No, commit 8 years, 10 years, morning, whatever, but commit. It's hard.
I saw an interesting stat about podcasts. I think it was something like 200,000 new podcasts came out last year, but something like 2 million books came out last year.
Well, there's the other thing that I'm like, yeah.
And how many live shows do you think came out last year?
Well, so listen.
Not 2 million.
Matt, people said to me, Keith, why don't you write a book? I said, no, I'm doing a morning show instead. So I believe my morning show is my living book. It's my book. It's there. It's real. You get to see me Monday to Friday live for 2 hours every single day. You can engage with me, ask me questions. You get to know me, and then I go away. right? Whereas a book, and I got nothing against the book, believe me, at all. As a matter of fact, if you're an author and you have a book, dude, you should have a fucking morning show. Like, true story. Like, what better place to take that book and then make it turn it into a living book? I know you do. I know. Like have a living book where weekly you talk about your book, create content around it, create your shorts, a 30-minute coffee with yourself and your book. It's the ultimate promotion platform for a book author, is a morning conversation with your community. It's funny. I had a conversation with a guy on Friday. He's like, yeah, I really wanted to be an author, but I didn't really realize that what I really wanted to be was a guy who sold books. I go, yeah,
Not
exactly.
even a guy who sold books. You're a guy who markets books. That's what happens when you're an author.
Yes.
There's a guy who tries to build community in a community with 2 million other authors who are trying to build a community.
Yes. Yes. Which actually, Matt, goes back to why I wanted to create the format. When you said format earlier on in our conversation,
Right.
I didn't want to be just another author. I said to myself, no, maybe there's a place to be the platform for the authors, or the platform. So to me, Mornings in the Lab, or the MITL Network, MITL Studio, is Substack for morning shows, right? Bring your morning show to my platform. All right, let's go and build it together. There's a space. It's wide open. As a matter of fact, it's wide open. Here's a big secret. There's not one creator going after the mornings, right? And the streaming platforms are all looking over there. The Netflix, the Amazon, the Apples, YouTube's. Hey, there's nobody in the mornings, because the Western media companies all started their media companies in the mornings. Hello, I got a platform for you.
And the 4-hour time change
Yes,
makes it so that they're not in the morning.
yes, yes,
On the East Coast, and most of the people live on the East Coast.
yes, yes.
So when you talk about, not necessarily in Canada, but in the grander scheme of things in North America, people live on the East Coast.
True story.
I just want to know a bit about the business athlete performance lab that you run and the philosophy behind it.
So when I first got back into the world, I launched under the Business Athlete Performance Lab. Business principles moniker. It was really as much a mindset, and it was getting me to the place where I guess I've arrived at over the last few years. What we're really talking about is the business we have today now, which is MITL Studio, and this world where we're building live format where through community, where people just don't just watch, they engage. Right? It's taking a brand new format, AI characters, real humans, building community, starting it through the power of a live conversation, and then continuing it. Right? So spend time. So like yourself, spend time in the morning with your folks, and then use your AI character, your AI presence. Because here's something I think people. It's funny because I watched, again, a marketer like you guys. You got these great tools like Hey Gen, Synthesia, Google Vids, and people just think they can instantly become like an avatar. But there's no IP in that. There's nothing really. It's just like taking a sticker. No, I'm taking a different approach. I'm creating IP around my characters. You want to license my character. You want to create your own character. So over time, you create AI, AI Mac, and over time you blur the lines, and people become trustworthy of both. And there's a new format within that.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm focused on. Back to your question, we've largely put the Business Athlete Performance Lab to bed, and we're moving forward with what we got cooking right now: the show, the network, and the platform.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Amazing.
Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
The MITL Studio,
Mhm.
you said it's the platform.
You think of Warner Brothers or Netflix, or you think we get the studio, which which is like our agency, I guess, in many ways, right? But we have the studio, creates the output, creates the characters, creates all the IP. We have the show, Mornings in the Lab, right? But then we also produce other shows for our network, the Mornings in the Lab live networks. We got shows like It Starts with Joy with Cheryl Whitaker, Kindness Rising with Matt Roof. We got another show launching next month on the Supply Chain Network. We got the Jason Hewlett show. So we produce shows on our live network. That's one of our business streams. So we get the studio, we get the show, we get the network, and then powering all that and powering the format is a platform that I've created called ConversationOS. And it's a platform that helps creators and builders take something from nothing and start a live show in less than 90 seconds. A formatted live show that you would have, that if you quit, pardon my language, if you quit, you're a fucking quitter, because you can't keep it, because there's no reason to quit. The content is there. All you got to literally do is just show up and get in front of the camera and be a leader, because I've worked really hard on this platform. And Matt, as a matter of fact, maybe something you guys might want to, I'd be honored if maybe you guys might want to try it for your podcast, actually, and use it. I'm in knee deep right on it, but that's something else, Matt, I learned on my journey. Did you know that there's not a place, like there's not a home for like your show?
No, there's all you got to make your own.
Yeah, like so whether it's through look at I'm gonna use Notion and all these pieces, but yet we as creators put all this effort and work into something we're proud of that I can look at and I'm like, oh yeah, there's all my blood and sweat and there's everything that makes up my show, all the ingredients, all the attributes, everything that stands that my IP, mine. Not in Notion's world and Google Docs world and everybody else's world, but mine. So I created it, ConversationOS. So for creators that are like, yeah, I got a show, I got a podcast, I want to have a platform that takes a bunch of tools and a home for my show. Tons of automation, AI powered. It is fucking awesome and it's a game changer.
Nice. I remember looking at it when you first started developing it.
Yeah. I think we're at a point, Matt, where maybe in the next week or two, I might just get you in there to play around with it and get you access to be one of my first testers if you wouldn't mind doing that.
I'm happy to take a look.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome, actually. Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
I have a goal. My goal is just to obsess over my first 50, the first 50 triers, users of my platform. I want to obsess as much as I have to so that we can take the next 5 million and make a lot of money.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes.
There's nothing wrong with doing stuff you like to do and then making money doing it too.
Agreed.
You know, I think actually, you know what? I think I said this first time I was on your show. Nobody went broke trying to help other people achieve their dreams.
Yes, it's a true story. 100%. Yep. This is fun, man. I enjoyed this.
It is. Do you have anything else you want to tell us before we stop?
Do I have anything else I want to tell you? No, I think you've given me a really wonderful opportunity to share my point of view on a few things. Why I believe live is important. I'll say to you that I think live, Matt, my heck is the new status. I'll leave that with you. I really do, right? Because it's hard. But the moment that you do, because if you took 10 people, 9 aren't going to do it. But the one that does automatically is like, oh, and the 9 become and I always say this, you know, do you want to be the person standing on the stage or the one that continues to sit in the audience? I don't know. I want it to be on the stage. So that's my desire, right? And I know a lot of people get stuck with, no, just go. You're going to fall a lot of times, but you'll get up and everything's going to be fine. And then you'll fall again to be fine. Next thing you know, it'll be 4, 6, 8 shows into it. You're building trust because you're falling down. People are like, hey, she's falling down. Yeah, I am. And I'm getting up tomorrow. I'll see you next week. Holy smoke, she did it again. She's still here. Yeah. Next thing you know, your trust meter, my heck, has gone through the roof because you fall down, you fucking swore, you broke things on the air. And people are like, dude, you keep showing up. Yeah, the keep showing up thing, that is where you win trust and repetition. So yeah, no, I'm really grateful for the opportunity. And I'm really grateful that you invited me, dude. I really am. So the fact you came and knocked on my door, extremely grateful.
Yeah. Well, I want to have interesting people on my show this season.
Thank you. I'll take it as a compliment.
Also, you know, I think that there is something really fundamental about the kind of age of AI that we're in right now that people are still thinking it's in the future, but it's already here.
Yes.
And I think that is something that I really want to try and kind of reach out to people about in my show.
Yeah.
Then, because most people, like you said, right? Most podcasts go under 6 episodes of done or less.
True. It's true. That's why I say it out loud. Like it's like if you're not planning on making a long commitment, then I don't know why you would waste your time, especially in 2026 where it's so noisy because you're competing with Matt and Mick and Keith, right? If you're just doing this kind of like not even a part-time, but a smidgen time, I don't know. Maybe there's some better things you can do with your time. And I'm not trying to dismiss anybody unless you're prepared to do it and outwin everybody else. Because there's no trick to it, Matt, as you know. It's just continue to do it. It's hard. That's the hardest thing, is to do it constantly. Did I want to be on my show this morning? Not really, but I did it because that's what I do.
Yeah. I mean, it's the idea that if you're being a professional at what you do have whether you feel like it or not.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It's an old kind of Seth Godin trope, but it still rings true, right? Is that writers all the time talk about getting writer's block, but nobody gets plumber's block. You know, you still go and do the plumbing every day if you're a plumber, right? You're not like, just not feeling laying pipe today.
Yeah. You know? Never thought about it that way, but that is so true.
Yeah, you just gotta go out and get it done.
Yeah, yeah. You know, so I want to go back to your comment, Matt, about you said about the AI stuff, right? Because you guys are living in the world, I'm living in the world. Uh, I look around at my friends and colleagues and people in my peer group and circles, and I don't know about you, Matt. I think we're a similar age. People look at me like I'm from Mars, and I'm like, actually, no, it's happening right now, and I'm not some I love my 20-year-olds. My son's 20. I'm not some 20-year-old punk. Love all you punks out there. Come listen to Mornings in Lab with Keith, John, and Friends. But I'm like, no, I'm some 55-year-old punk who actually is seeing the world right now change, and you guys are all thinking it's coming. No, it's actually here right now. Matt?
Absolutely, it's
Yeah.
Like the world of agents? Like I had a conversation with a guy last week. He's like, what is an agent? I'm like, dude, really? I'm like, really?
I teach Lego Robot League, right?
Oh,
Teach little kids how to make Lego robots.
yeah.
Super fun. But anyways, one of the parents was there, and I said, "Oh, I was working on Suno because I got to make the introduction for the show."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What's Suno?" I said, "Oh, well, yeah. Have you ever heard AI music?" He's like, "I don't think so." So, anyways, my daughter, who's 10,
Yes.
goes in and puts all the information in, makes a theme song for the Robot League.
Yes.
And he was astounded. He'd never
Yes.
seen anything like it in his life. He's like, I cannot believe that this is a thing that exists. Just so foreign to them. I might as well have pulled a Buick out of my ass. It's
Yeah,
so
yes, yes.
astounded he was, right? And we got to meet up and you got to show me some of this stuff. Right?
Matt, I wonder because when we all got iPhones, the world, I guess Blackberries actually, Treo's Blackberries iPhones, the world physically changed. So we physically saw it change around us. Where we're living in a world where software is unemploying a lot of people. You really can't see it until it's like, hey, why has Matt been unemployed for 5 years? Oh, because of this. Or I mean, it's just like, and we're all going to wake up with a bunch of unemployed people because we all didn't adjust to these tools, perhaps changing some of the workforces on the planet because we can't see it. I wonder if it's, I wonder if it's not until physical AI embodies more of us, where there's robots here, robots there, where we start seeing the impact of this, or it just continues to slowly, communicate through um, whatever we want to call news these days, which is whatever we want to believe for unemployment reports. We might just want to judge who's on the street more often than not, or on the at home more often. But I wonder if that's we don't see the physical transformation like we did with the devices we carry.
I think that's true. And the one of the county counselors where I live in the middle of nowhere in southern Nova Scotia,
Yes.
she went on a trip to San Francisco and she came back and she's like, there's fucking robots everywhere. Yes, like robots walking around in the street. And there's robots delivering food and drones flying overhead everywhere. She's like, it's like I walked into the Jetsons.
Yes.
That's the way the world is changing. It's not everywhere yet. Right?
Yes.
And I think you're right about being able to see things. Like, it's one thing to go and like a taxi pulls up and you get in a robot taxi when you're in Austin, Texas. There's no driver. It's weird, right? And it kind of switches your thinking a little bit. But it's really hard to go like 20 call centers don't exist this week because somebody's software replaced them.
Well, and here's what I find fascinating too, Matt Mayhek, is that when we think about the entertainment industry unemploying an actor, let's think beyond that. Let's use Winnipeg, for example. Matt's the actor. Okay, so now we don't need Winnipeg for the set because we created with AI. We don't need the taxi driver to pick up Matt from the airport. We don't need the hotel to put up Matt to stay at. We don't need the restaurant and the food. So it's not the actor as much as it is the entire assembly line that goes in around the actor to actually create the film. So the impact is more than just, oh, you don't need an actor anymore. Well, no, you don't need the actor, the buffet service, the hotel rooms, the lodge, everything you don't need now. The impact is astronomical. I know because I'm doing it.
Yeah, totally. I'm glad I switched to marketing for a little bit because then I didn't know what to do as a filmmaker. I was just speaking to my cinematographer the other day, and he's like, n- he works at this equipment company, and like we're not getting clients anymore because we're all doing it with AI. Like they don't need physical light setups as they used to, because that can all be done by AI. So he's been asked to like direct an AI to create that environment instead of just being a cinematographer who would go in on a physical set and set up lighting.
Yes.
Yeah. And we were both like, okay, we wanted to start a film production company, but like we don't know how to do that anymore because the world has changed. By
Yeah.
the time we got here, like we just graduated out of film school like a few years ago, and
Mhm.
now we're at that point where we were really thinking to start our own company, and we were like, nah, we can't do this anymore. We're in for a lot.
Yeah, it's for sure massive disruption and change.
What the term for it is job cascade failure,
Is that what it is?
which was coined in this book by me.
Beautiful. There you go. I love
Which
it.
is, I'll tell you the explanation in the book is, let's say you lay off half your software development team because you need them, and you lay off the call center staff because you don't need them. Now you don't need the office space, right? So you get rid of the office space, and now you don't need the janitors, and you don't need the HR people because you're not hiring anybody, and you don't need the attorneys because now you don't have any staff screwing up that you need legal for. And then you don't need the hairdresser and the shop and the cafe and the convenience store and the valet parking guy and the gas station.
Yeah. Well, that's just it.
All the way, that goes all the way back through the supply chain and back to where they're already digging the fossil fuels out of the ground with automated systems now. So, I mean, you've got this failure of jobs that goes through, but the other half of that people don't talk about is that maybe there's a whole bunch of new industries and jobs and things created that we haven't thought of yet, right?
Oh, no question.
Trying to tell somebody in 1980 that they should be a web developer would be ridiculous because it didn't exist yet. The web didn't exist yet, and browsers didn't exist yet.
Oh, no question about that. I look back to when I created ICUC moderation services. I created, we created the job of a moderator. Like, what's a moderator? Well, they look at content and make sure it's appropriate. Like, that job didn't exist either. So I agree with you, Matt. There's no question there's going to be a number of new jobs developed, and it's not going to all be, nobody's going to have employment. I don't think humans work that way. Disruption, without a doubt. And I think the disruption is as simple as, there's actually a few disruptive things to consider, I think, which is, are you paying for speed, productivity, or are you okay with the slower human pace? Because apparently tokens can buy you speed, right? Well, what's your budget for tokens? Matt's like, well, yeah, I don't got a bunch of budget for my heck to go and develop this thing. So we're going to do a little slowly. Well, Keith's like, well, I'm going to do it right now. And now we're going to compete on price because I'm blowing through tokens, but I'm making margin. Like, I think there's a whole new suite of industries and discussions happening around how businesses are monetized, how services are delivered. It's fascinating. It's wonderful. I'm really pleased to be leading it. I'd like to think in what we are creating, this category of mixed reality, live AI type conversation. Because we are, you talked Matt to me before the show that we brought I talked to one of my characters live. I'm going to bring my live character will be joining our show live. So just like we are doing this, I will have my live characters in the conversation where we will bring them to be part of the show.
There's a funny thing that reminds me of, and I know we're kind of over time, so we'll let you out of here in a second.
Yeah.
A long time ago, was it Max Headroom? Do you remember that show?
I do.
And they would like talk to him, and he'd be on the TV, and he was all glitchy and stuff.
Yes.
Just like a character pretending to be an AI.
Yes.
He was like, I don't know.
Yes.
Like that kind of stuff. It totally reminds me of having an AI character of the show. Reminds me of this 80s like sitcom.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you. I think if you think about it, I think that, we're living in the era where, perhaps the mascot has never been more powerful as a brand. If you're a brand, you have a mascot, dude, the IP value you can create there. And like, if you've had a mascot,
I don't know why their mascot is not everywhere for every brand right now being powered.
Yes.
Just see where Disney had like the little snowman guy for whatever.
Yes.
And he was a robot, and he could walk around, and you could talk to Olaf. You could walk around, you could talk to him, he could interact with kids and stuff.
Yes.
That's going to be every brand in a few years.
I believe that. Hence, we're really leaning into licensing characters, creating characters and licensing them instead of just accidental. So if a brand is like, hey, we want to create a character for our campaign, how do we do that? Well, I've answered all of that. We created humans with attributes and values and you can either license them or we can help you create your own.
Well, what the real AI magic is? That Mayak is an AI.
Make
The
the AI.
Hey.
Yes.
I'm just
Oh, hi.
person.
I love it. I love it.
Thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Matt, thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the Digital Marketing Masters podcast today. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and leave us a comment or a review on your favorite podcast platform. And we shall see you in the next episode.